I've been waiting for Sofyan Amrabat to make his debut for Manchester United. And I'll tell you what, he did not disappoint in his full debut against Crystal Palace. I really, really think that Amrabat is the missing link. He changes and transforms everything in this midfield. And what I'm going to do is run through his full debut, even at left back against Crystal Palace, where he showcased everything that he is going to bring to this team. Make sure you drop a like on this video, because trust me, of all the outfield players, Amrabat is the man that can come in and make the difference that we need to take this team to towards where we want it to be. Now, you might laugh and say, I said the same thing with Onana. Trust me, it's all directly linked. Amrabat is that guy. Now, from a statistical perspective, it was a very impressive debut. Look, hardly gave the ball away. 96% passing accuracy, 92 touches. Amazing. He wanted the ball. He kept showing himself for the ball. And I'm going to run through now all the sort of key elements to that performance, all right? Let's go. Let's go over here. And I'm going to run through these in order. In terms of how he received the ball first from the goalkeeper, that made a big difference. Him dropping in between the centre-backs, his work rate, his interceptions, his long passing, defensive transitions, all of these together, and I've got examples. This is the exact profile of midfielder that this team just has not had. This is why Erik Ten Hag went after Frenkie de Jong. Casemiro wasn't a like-for-like replacement. Amrabat's going to come in and make a big difference, right? Let's run through it. Let's run through examples here. This is probably my favorite example, because this is something I've been going on about so much, all right? Amrabat is over here. You can see where he is. He's over there, and you can see where the space is. Now, previously, when it comes to McTominay, and Casemiro actually has been kind of guilty of this, they just haven't run into this space at all. This is where it's different with Amrabat. You see here, just casually, so he's right now, the passing lane between Amrabat and Onana is blocked. Simply by moving across, the passing lane is opened. Onana spots it. Amrabat receives the ball. Amrabat turns. It might be basic. It is basic. But the truth be told, Manchester United's midfielders have not been doing the basics. And therefore, Onana passing it out from the back has been intensely difficult, because he's been in this situation all too often and no midfielder has made the run. Now, it's a bit different because, look, you've got Lindelof and loads of space over here. You've got Delot over there. Is that Delot? I think it's Delot. Varane over here. But it's just the fact that Amrabat makes the move into space. That's going to make a massive difference to us. Trust me. As well as dropping in between the centre-backs. Now, this is a key part of it too. Let me show you here. Casemiro running forward. Varane there. Well, was that with Maguire over there? That must have been who the other one was, another one. You can see Amrabat runs into that space. Drops in between the two centre-backs. Example 2 here. Amrabat looking deeper, or operating deeper. You can't actually see Varane because he's just off screen. But he's operating between Maguire and Varane. That allows the two centre-backs to really split. And Manchester United, you know exactly what Ten Hag's system is going forward. He wants the 3-1-6. Where the central midfielder drops in between the two centre-backs, then widen, and all of a sudden you've got your full-backs who can go more aggressive, and you've got that central midfielder who here is his Amrabat, who drops in to receive the ball and gives us another passing option. It's a big, big difference maker. And then, of course, he just receives the ball and he can pass it through the lines. Again, it's going to make a massive difference to have a midfielder in that position who's going to be able to pass it through the lines instead of back sideways to Maguire or Lindelof or our fullbacks or anybody else. Those vertical line breaking passes are crucial in the build-up of Manchester United. And we just have not been doing them without Amrabat. Now, one element of his game which everybody's going to know about and everybody saw at the World Cup, Amrabat is pretty relentless off the ball. Work rate here is an example. You can see where he is just off the screen up here. That's Amrabat over there. Of course, the ball is down here. Let's fast forward. We can see Amrabat coming across here to cover that space, to cover that run, to pressure the ball, to keep going, and forces the ball out of play. Amrabat is somebody who is going to add so much energy to a midfield that is lacked it. So we're talking about the fact that he's going to be dropping to receive the ball from the goalkeeper better than any of our current midfielders are doing it. He's going to be dropping in between our two centre-backs to operate as that deeper line playmaker better than any current midfielder is doing it and offering it. And from a work rate perspective, it's night and day between Amrabat and the rest of our midfielders. Casemiro, Eriksen, McTominay. He just, from a profile perspective, it's completely and utterly different to what we have. And it really is going to make such a big, big difference, man. I can't wait to see it. Of course, on top of that, now this is definitely an element I think everybody was excited about, because it's been a long old time, since we've had somebody in the team who every single game, look, everyone's obviously going to compare him to Scholes here, and I think that's pretty fair, because this is what Scholes made looks. It's not an easy thing to do. Amrabat, the switch and the long diagonal is a key part of his arsenal. He's not surprised to see that in the first game. He will do this every single game. That switch of play, that look up here, Amrabat sees it, Dalot, nice 30, 40-yard pass straight to Dalot's feet. Wasn't the only time in the game that he did it. Another example here. Receives the ball, turns, sees the run, goes for the pass. A little bit overhit, but Pellistri still gets on the end of it. And all of a sudden, Amrabat switches a situation where he is the last. You can see how aggressive everyone else is going forward. With one ball over the top, the ball progresses down the pitch 40 yards, 30, 40 yards. It makes such a big difference. Amrabat here, again, receiving the ball, cutting, turning, seeing the run from Dalot, and making that pass. That, again, is going to add something. Like Casemiro is capable of this, and Casemiro was doing it yesterday. But what I would say about Amrabat is it's far more lasered with Amrabat. It's far more exact with Amrabat. And you could expect him 3-4 times every game from now on to be pulling out these passes, all right? Prepare yourself, because you're going to see this on the regular with Amrabat. It is a key element of his game. So again, we're looking at him receiving the ball from deep, from Onana. That's going to make a big difference to our ability to play through the middle and play out from the back. Him dropping in between the two centre-backs is going to allow our full-backs to go forward a little bit more, knowing full well that they've got Amrabat there, covering the space in behind with the two split centre-backs. It's kind of what Brighton did against us when they had their two really wide centre-backs and then they played with their full-backs a little bit further up. And then they had Pascal Gross, who was the midfielder who was dropping. It was making all the difference. Amrabat will be that sort of player for us now. And we go and we take a look at this again. When it comes to defensive transitions, and Amrabat, so obviously he was operating as a left-back here, but he will still be doing this when he operates as a central defensive midfielder, because you saw the positional awareness of Amrabat there yesterday. He may have been playing as a left-back, but as soon as it went forward, he drifted in and inverted into a central midfielder anyway. It's kind of a natural instinct to him. It's kind of how he plays. But we see here, Amrabat covering his runner, covering there, tracking back, and getting back and putting in the tackle. I think he got a standard, maybe not a standard ovation, but Old Trafford certainly appreciated that. And we are all going to appreciate Amrabat. I know that there's going to be people who say, Sam, you hype up every signing. Yeah, I think Mason Mount's going to come good. I really do. I do think Onana is a transformative signing, but he was missing this type of midfielder. Amrabat is the missing link. Amrabat is the balance this midfielder's just needed. Been desperate for, that we've all been desperate for, and it's going to make such a big, big difference. Another sort of not as important, but it's a nice element to his game. Now, anticipation is something that I always relate to Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick was a player who never really had to put a tackle in because he'd just anticipate where the ball was going to get passed. You don't have to tackle if you block the passing lane, right? Amrabat does have that. He has very good spatial awareness. An example here of him just chasing down the ball, getting his head on it, getting in between, and it turned into an attack for United. Amrabat's going to quickly become a fan's favourite. Calling it now. I don't need to call it now. I knew it before he came in. It's why I was so excited about the signing of him. It's why I was so desperate for United to complete the signing of him. It's just a shame that we've had to wait X amount of games into the season before Amrabat's come in. But all the elements I spoke about there from his debut against Palace are all just examples of what we are going to see going forward and why, really, truly, he is going to transform this Manchester United midfield. Completely different sort of player to anybody in there. Eriksen, McTominay, Casemiro, Mainu, Dangor, Bruno, Mount. None of them have the sort of profile that Sofyan Amrabat does. And this is a guy who is absolutely desperate to stay at Manchester United. He wants to be at our club, and I want him to be at the club. He's going to easily become a fan's favourite very quickly, and the Crystal Palace debut, even at left back, was a real example of all the attributes that he's going to bring to this team and how he's going to piece it all together, and I think really become one of Ten Hag's most important players. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the Premier League against Crystal Palace on Saturday, and then the Champions League against Galatasaray. Then I'm just looking forward to seeing what this United team looks like and how we change with Amrabat in it, because I think it's really going to transform us.